Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Veda and this is The Simple Budget. Here on my channel, I show you how my family is using the zero-based budgeting method in order to get out of debt and simplify our financial life. If that sounds like content that you're interested in, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button and join our little crew here. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay, I don't think I've ever been so excited to film a video for you guys. This is the great first quarter debt confession update. So just briefly, if you've never, if this is your first, oh, of course there's a helicopter. Maybe you can hear it, maybe you can't. If you're new to my channel, I think part of the reason why most of you have followed me is so that you can watch our absolute train wreck of nearly $59,000 in starting credit card debt. I will add all of this up in just a minute. But we started off the year with that much debt. I go into a little bit more detail in my debt confession video, which I will link for you now. How all of this was acquired and what it means and so on and so forth. So just as a little refresher, I'm going to go over each of our debts in order of the balance of smallest to largest. And then I will go into what kind of progress we've made with all of this so far. So I'm going to go ahead and get you guys zoomed in. We'll have a refresher, add up our starting balance, and then go from there. Okay, here we are. So first up, our smallest balance was our Chase credit card. It had a starting balance of $4,762.35. The interest rate was a ridiculous 20%, and our minimum payment was $100. Our goal payoff date on this one is June of 2023. If you are unfamiliar with the snowball method, essentially you list all of your debts from smallest balance to largest balance. You pay the minimum on each of them. And then with the smallest balance, you throw any extra money you have every month toward it so that you can pay it off faster. And then what you do once you've paid that off, you take the money that you were applying to this credit card and you move it over onto your next smallest balance debt. And so that's what we have been doing since January. Next up is our car. And it had a starting balance. This was as of January 1st. So as of January 1st, it had $8,319.61. Our interest rate is 4.49%. Our minimum car payment is $310.84. And our goal payoff date for this one is September of 2023. The reason why it's so soon after this one is because we're on the back end of this debt. And so now most of our payment is actually going toward principal and not toward interest. So that's why we're pretty confident in our ability to pay this one off pretty quickly after this one gets paid off. Next up was a 401k loan we took out against my husband's 401k in order to pay down debt initially. What a rousing success that was. Anyway, we're not looking back. Looking back is a bad habit. Our starting balance of this one is $19,373.94. I did go over this in my debt confession, but the interest rate is 1.5%, and that's actually paid back to us because it's a 401k loan. And this one is also handled a little bit differently because it gets a payment of like $223 per paycheck. So this balance goes down much more quickly just because of the nature of the way that this one is handled. And so our goal is to have this paid off by August of next year. Because this will be the last one, even though the balance is lower on this one, this will be the last one we tackle just because the payments that are going toward it are going toward it so aggressively. And this next one is so gigantic. We just really want to get it done and over with, because the starting balance of this one was $26,491.40. It's got a 10% interest rate, a $197 minimum payment. And for those of you who can do fast math, you know that this minimum payment doesn't even cover the interest. So we don't just pay the minimum payment on this one. Our goal is to have this one paid off by April of next year. So now that we've gone over those really quickly, let's go ahead and just add up our starting balance, our starting total again, one more time. So we've got, and that was a total of $58,947.30. And that, my friends, is a ton of debt to have hanging over your heads. But it's okay. We've been diligent and disciplined, and we've made a ton of progress, and I'm super excited to show you. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first up, we are going to turn to actually the largest balance, which was the Visa. So what I'm going to do with each of these is put down the dates that we paid, or the months rather, just the amount that we paid per month, and then what the balance was remaining. After that, I'm just going to do that with each of the debts so that you can see what our progress has been so far. So because I'm a slanter, can you still see? Yes, bless it. Okay. So our first, and I'm gonna have to work on the percentage, the repayment progress on this one, because we all know that I can't math, and so this is something that I'm obviously going to need my husband's help with. But for January, for this one, we paid a total of $250, and I think I mentioned already, but the $197 minimum payment is not enough to cover the interest that is accrued on this every single month. So love that, by the way. Love that credit card companies do that. They're like, here, this is your minimum payment. Oh, by the way, it's not actually going to enable you to pay this down. So a minimum payment is a trick. So if you are in the process of paying down your debt, I would argue, I don't know what the great and powerful Dave Ramsey has to say about this, but I would argue that actually don't pay the minimum payment. Make sure that you're making a payment that at least brings your balance down like $10 a month or something, because by the time, if you have a long list of debts, by the time you get around to paying your last debt, and if you've been paying the minimum payment and your balance increases every month, this is not going to be beneficial to you. It's not going to help you mentally kind of get past this giant that you have in front of you. So that would be my argument, is make sure that your minimum payment actually is paying down your balance a little bit, even just a little bit, like $5 every month. As long as it's paying your balance down every month, that's what you should be looking toward. So we did the math and figured out that $250 helps pay down the balance every single month. So after our January payment, we had a balance of $26,338.01. Love that penny. So you can see, compared to our starting balance of $26,491.40, not a ton of progress was made, but progress was made nonetheless. So we just don't argue with it. Next up in February, however, we ended up putting $1,000 toward this. And the reason was because, so we didn't stick with the traditional snowball method. This one got our most overage this month in our budget because it was so close to the limit, to the credit limit, that we just didn't want to play around with like these piddly little numbers, like it lowering every single month just by like teeny little bits. So in order to get it a little bit further away from the credit limit, we put $1,000 on this card this month, and this debt got the most
money from our budget this month. And so that brought down the balance to $25,558.94. So it wasn't close to the limit anymore, and that just kind of like eased our fears a little bit. And so then we went right back in March to $250. And so the balance currently on this one sits at $25,531.94. So you can see the drop was not significant in the balance with the $250, but it still dropped. So that means in total, we are, let's see, we've paid down. So it started at 26,491.40, and it's currently at 25,531.94. And so we have lowered the balance on this one, $959.46. So it's little progress, but it's progress nonetheless. And given that this is going to be the last credit card we tackle, or really the last debt, because again, my husband's 401k loan, the way that it's structured, the pay down happens much more quickly. So this is the one that we're going to be like putting all of our effort on once we pay off our smallest balance credit card and then our car. So we're not too worried about it. We are happy that it is going to be, with the $250, it is being paid down, however small. And so that is the update on this one. So we've lowered the balance by $959.46, which we are quite happy with. And then moving on to our next highest rather, is the 401k loan. So the starting balance of this one was $19,373.94. And like I mentioned, this one actually gets paid every 2 weeks. So my husband is paid biweekly, and biweekly money is just automatically taken from his paycheck in order to pay this. And so let me go ahead and check my sheet here. So in January, it got $447.96. At the end of January, the balance of this one was $18,948.20. So you can see much more progress is made on each month with this one, because the interest goes to us in the 401k, and obviously like most of the money is going toward paying off the balance. So this is why this one is not an area of concern for us in terms of like needing to be aggressive with it. Next up was our February payment, and it was also $447.96. And that brought the balance down to $18,521.97. So you can see this is an incredibly gratifying thing to pay down, because you can actually see the number changing pretty quickly. March was a fun one because it was the magic month, so it got paid 3 times in the month of March. And so the payment on this one was $671.94. And that has left us with a balance of $17,881.70. So you can see, it just drops much more quickly because of the fact that the interest is getting paid to us. And basically all of this payment is going toward the principal. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of math. Our starting balance was $19,373.94. and our current balance is $17,881.70. And so that means that in total, since January, we have paid off $1,492.24. So you can see much more progress was made on this one than our large credit card, our largest credit card debt. So that's why we're not worried about being aggressive toward this particular debt that we have. We still want it gone because we want to actually start putting money into my husband's 401k again. Wouldn't that be lovely? But we are still very excited about this progress. It's a huge deal. So let's move on to the car. So our car had a starting balance of $8,319.61. The payment on our car is $310.84 every single month. The interest rate is not terrible. It's 4.49%. So this one, let's see. So because we are not snowballing this one every single month, January, February, and March. Have I not been in frame this entire time? Guys, I'm so sorry. Hashtag worst YouTuber ever. Okay. So it's gotten its basic payment of $310.84 every single month. So $310.84 and $310.84. So at the end of January, our balance, because I think I mentioned to you, because we're on the back half of this particular car, or this particular loan, most of our payment actually goes toward the balance now. They front load their interest and then they start actually paying it off. I love how loans work, toward the end of your loan. So our balance at the end of January was $8,042.54. Our balance at the end of February was $7,760.39. And then our balance at the end of March is $7,476.28. So you can see, again, this is another one where the balance is coming down pretty rapidly. And so once we start paying this one aggressively, this balance is just going to go down like crazy. So we are excited to get there. But we are happy that our minimum payment is actually doing work on this balance. It's not like our very, very large credit card balance. So that's where we stand with our car. Last up is our smallest debt. Our starting balance was $4,762.35. And this is the one that got the minimum payment plus. So any extra money we had in our budget each month was thrown at this particular card. So let's see. In January, our minimum payment was $100. In January, we paid $419.90. And we usually have a little bit more wiggle room in our budget than this, but we ended up having some sort of, not emergency, but something we had to pay for. And I can't remember because it was January, but something that we had to pay for. And so we diverted funds away from this in order to pay for that particular thing. Even still, $419.90 was a great amount of money to throw at this debt. And so that left us with a balance of $4,423.84. But you can see what interest does. The interest on this one is just absolutely stupid. It's 20%. And so even though we put $419.90 on this, our balance didn't, it went down a lot, but it certainly didn't go down as much as I would have liked to have seen it, but that's okay. for February, if you remember, I just discussed this. We put $1,000 in February toward our largest balance credit card just to get it away from the credit limit. So that means that as far as extra money went this month, this one didn't get as much. So we put 2,000. Oh, geez, 2,000. No. I guess I could have just kept that there. We paid $247.41. I know these are weird numbers, but like, you know, we throw like whatever extra dollars we have at our budget here, and sometimes it's just weird numbers. So it just is that way. That left us with a remaining balance in February of $4,176.43. So, you know, not great, not terrible. March was a fun one, however, because March was our magic month, and this is going to require a little bit of an explanation. So I'm just going to get stuck into it. So my husband, I think I've mentioned this in other videos that I've made before. My husband did some tax money calculations back in like November, December, and he was very concerned that his work was not pulling enough, even though he'd filled out his tax paperwork properly. He was very concerned that his work wasn't pulling out enough money that we owed the government in taxes. And so he started suggesting, like, with his Christmas bonus, we put money aside for taxes. And then with our magic month, we earmarked $2,000 of our magic month paycheck money to go toward taxes. So that left us $3,500 for taxes. Now, our plan this month was to be able to put like $1,000 or something, or just over $1,000 or something on this credit card. But when we actually had our taxes done and we did all of the, work with the accountant, we ended up having far less money that we needed to pay to taxes than we thought we would. And so what we did was turned that around on this debt. And so in the month of March, we paid $4,313.35, leaving us with a zero balance on this credit card, which we are positively ecstatic about because we are no longer paying 20% interest. And this has bumped our debt payoff goal dates for everything way forward. So yeah, we're just beside ourselves happy. So obviously, this is more than what our remaining balance was, but interest, et cetera, et cetera. So it is fully and completely paid off. Like, another interest payment is not going to come back to bite us in the rear. That's what this amount was. And so this one is done, finished, over. We are so excited. And I hope you find encouragement from this. Like, if you just stick to your plans, it works out. Now, obviously, if we had needed to use that money for taxes, we would have put much less at this, but it still would have, magic months really do a lot of work to paying down debt. And I know it's super tempting to take your magic month money and put it towards something fun. And it's not that we didn't. We definitely did. We put more money at Christmas. We put more money at vacation, but we really put most of our magic month effort, our magic month effort toward the taxes we thought we were going to have to pay. And then when we didn't have to pay them, we didn't turn around and like have fun with that money. We put that toward debt. And I know that it hurts, but it hurts more in the long run if you don't do that. And then you're just continually paying somebody else your money. So don't don't be short-sighted, I guess. I would encourage you to not be short-sighted, to make sure that if you are paying down debt, take unplanned money and put it toward it, because it's painful now, but it will be so beneficial in the long run. So now that I have preached at you, what does that mean for us going forward? Hold on, we're gonna do a frame check. Actually, let me zoom you out. Actually, let's go ahead and do this really quickly. Let's total up our balances. Wait, where did oh, right here. I guess I should have done like a total column somewhere, but I'll just put total here. And of course I forget what it is, so let me add this really quickly. I'll probably zoom you guys through this. So again, the original total was $58,947.30. So that was, $59,000 basically. And now let's go ahead and give our balances, add them all up. Okay, so our current debt is sitting at $50,889.92. So we paid off essentially $9,000 of debt in January, February, and March, which is just incredible. Let me actually subtract it, so we can have an actual number. So 58,947.30. Oh my gosh, we paid, so it was 8,000. So we paid $8,057.38. So while I am positively ecstatic about this number, I am also incredibly angry that $8,057.38 is not sitting in a savings account somewhere, or a 401k, or some combination of the both, because I owed this money to somebody else. So never forget that. As exciting as it is to pay down debt, let it be a constant lesson to you that this is money that I could have had sitting in a savings account, actually doing me good and not harm. Life lessons with Veda. Anyway, so what is our plan moving forward? Because the snowball method would dictate that the very next debt that we attack is our car, because our car is actually our next smallest balance, with a starting balance of $8,319.61. Taking a sip. However, because my husband and I are clearly rebels without a cause, we're actually moving over for a brief period of time, and we are going to start tackling our Visa with the same level of aggression that we attacked our Chase. And here's why. The starting balance of $26,491.40 was, as I mentioned, dangerously close to the limit. And even though we have paid it down a little bit since then, it's still closer to the limit than we would like. And the interest rate is crazy at 10%. And the $250 that we're paying toward it is only making like tiny little progress. And so what we would like to do is to get this balance below $20,000 before we start going back to the snowball method and attacking our car balance. So that's what we're going to be doing moving forward. So when I do my April budget with me, I realize that it's already April, but we haven't actually cash pulled for April yet. So I figured I had some wiggle room in my schedule here, my filming schedule, so that I could get that up still before my first April cash stuffing. So when you see my April budget with me, you're going to see that we are actually putting all of our extra money now, we are snowballing the Visa so that we can get this balance below 20,000. And then actually we're going to be increasing the money that we put toward it, even though the balance will be lower. So instead of putting the $250 that we've been putting toward it, this is just going to just get $300 a month from us after we get the balance below $20,000. Just because we want to make sure that while we're paying our car off, we're still making more significant progress on this one until we pay off the car, and then we can focus on this guy. So I hope that's clear to you guys. So this one is still going to be getting its $310.84 for the foreseeable future until we get this balance below $20,000. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's what you're going to see in my channel moving forward, is whenever you see a budget with me. And actually, you guys don't see what we put at our debt every single month because I don't show you our entire budget when it comes to cash stuffing, because we don't cash stuff for any of our bills. So our mortgage stays in our bank account. All of our debt payments stay in our bank account. Our electric bill, things like that. All of that stuff stays in our bank account. So you guys never actually see this, which is why the debt update is like such a surprise, because I mean, unless you're paying attention to my budget with me every month, you'll see how much money we are putting toward debt. But by and large, I don't address my debt in terms of like our progress on it on a, weekly basis on my channel here. So, so you will see, just barely little snippets of what's going on with my debt as the year or as the months progress. So that's it. Next video, like I said, is going to be my budget with me for April. So you'll get to see kind of what we're planning on doing for our debt this month. And I hope that this video was encouraging to you guys. I don't want it to come off like arrogant or anything like that. That's not what this is about. There is nothing to be arrogant about when you've got $50,000+ of debt. So there's no arrogance here. There's just absolute unbridled joy, because being able to aggressively pay this down is going to eventually open up doors for us to pursue dreams and goals that we have, because that's really what this is about. Debt holds you back from doing those kinds of things. And I want all of us to be encouraged to break these chains. It is modern day slavery. We're all, if you are held back by debt, you are enslaved to these creditors, and they don't want to see you succeed and do better. They benefit from you staying in debt, and that should be enough motivation for us all to get out of it. But yeah, I mean, I could go on and on and on about, I mean, you guys know me. I don't like the government, and even less so I like credit card companies. So anyway, that being said, I hope you take encouragement from this. I hope that you're making progress in your debt payoff progression. I would love to hear any stories that you guys have about having done it already, or if you are on the road to paying down debt, tell me about your successes. I want to hear about them, and I want to be excited about them with you too. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for being a constant source of support and encouragement on my channel. I absolutely love having you guys here with me. And I hope that you're excited for me, because if the roles were reversed, I would be excited for you. So thanks so much. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And if you have not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you did. I'd be so grateful if you joined our fam here. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.